to find the answers to these two questions. So I want you to pause the video for 5 minutes, and then after 5 minutes, I want you to turn on the video again, and we'll go over the answers to these two questions. So please pause the video now and look for the answers to these two questions. Okay, did you find the answers to these questions? Well, let's go over the answer to these questions together. So the first question is, list at least 2 dangers that Linda Foberster says are caused by the cult of celebrities. Well, the first danger is that the power of personality conquers substance. And what this means is people who are into the cult of celebrity, people who worship their idols, who worship their favorite movie stars, music stars, and so forth, they begin to become more concerned with image. How do I look? What do people think of me? And they become more concerned with their appearances. How do I look? Instead of finding their true selves and realizing their true nature. Okay? So, in other words, they become interested in a shallow life. They aren't really looking for real character and a deeper life. So this is one of the dangers of celebrity worship. And a second danger of celebrity worship is that it can lead to celebrity worship syndrome, CWS. Okay, and according to the article that we read today, about 30% of people have celebrity worship syndrome. And of those who have celebrity worship syndrome, about 10% of those who have celebrity worship syndrome can become obsessed. That means they become obsessed with their movie stars, or with their favorite television star, or their favorite singer. And so their whole lives begin to revolve around these celebrities. And everything in their life is centered around these celebrities. That's what it means to be obsessed with celebrities. And then in 1% of the cases of celebrity worship syndrome, it can lead to social illness. Now, let's look at slide 22, because this slide gives us a real-life case of celebrity worship syndrome. There was a man named John Hinckley who was obsessed with the actress Jodie Foster. And he watched a movie called Taxi, in which Jodie Foster was one of the stars. And he watched this movie again and again and again and again and again and again. And he became so obsessed with Jodie Foster that he started writing her, he started calling her, and he even went to the college where she was a student, and he tried to follow her. Now, you can imagine how all of this made Jodie Foster feel. This really scared her. And so she actually had to have policemen guarding her against John Hinckley. Well, John Hinckley would not take no for an answer. And so he decided that he had to prove his love for Jodie Foster. So, on March 30th, 1981, John Hinckley went to Washington, D.C., and he shot President Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan almost died that day. Thankfully, he survived the assassination attempt. But John Hinckley was arrested, and he was sent to prison, and actually he was sent to a mental hospital. And the reason why he did all of this was because he suffered from celebrity worship syndrome and was so obsessed with his love for Jodie Foster that he felt like he had to kill Ronald Reagan to prove his love for this actress. Okay, now here are some questions that I want you to think about. According to Linda Fogester, how does hero worship as opposed to celebrity worship help us? Okay, how does hero worship as opposed to celebrity worship help us? Okay, and in the article she talks about how hero worship can actually help us. And according to her, hero worship helps us by encouraging us to become better people, by encouraging us to become more real. Hero worship also helps us by encouraging us to make sacrifices for the good of others. So these are some ways that hero worship can actually help us, because it helps us to become better people ourselves, and it helps us to help others to become better people also. So let's go to slide 23, and let's talk about this question. Why are we obsessed? And here are two questions. According to Brett McCracken, what are 3 reasons why people are obsessed with celebrities? And then the second question here is, according to Bob Hostetler, what are 3 human longings that cause Americans, and I would add other people too, to be obsessed with celebrities? So I want you to take 5 minutes to find the answer to these 2 questions. So please pause your video for 5 minutes and find the answers to these 2 questions. Please begin now. Okay, how did you do in finding the answers to these 2 questions? Well, let's go over the answers to these 2 questions. The first question is, according to Brett McCracken, what are 3 reasons why people are obsessed with celebrities? Well, here are the 3 reasons why people are obsessed with celebrities. Number 1, many of us crave our 15 minutes of fame. Now, this phrase, 15 minutes of fame, was created by a man named Andy Warhol. He was a famous American artist in the 1960s. And he once said, in the future, everybody will be world famous for 15 minutes. And so we often see that happen today. And the idea is that because of television, that everybody will have 15 minutes of fame. But only 15 minutes. Because then after 15 minutes, another person will be famous for 15 minutes. But this goes back to that question. Why are we obsessed with celebrity? And one of the answers is that many of us crave fame for ourselves. The second reason why we are obsessed with celebrities is because there is a definite class dimension to celebrities. What I mean by this is most celebrities are very successful, and we envy those who are very successful. So here I have a very nice home This home probably belongs to a celebrity. And so we look at the homes of the rich and famous. We say, oh, I wish I could be like them. I wish I could live in a really big and nice and expensive home like them. And so this is another reason why we are obsessed with celebrities. And then the second question that we have in that slide is, according to Bob Hostetler, what are 3 human longings that cause Americans to be so obsessed with celebrities? Well, here they are. I need to go back up a little bit. A third reason why we are obsessed with celebrities is because we have a desire for immortality. We want people to remember us forever. So I've shown this slide on slide 26. This is a picture of Michael Jackson's grave. Now, Michael Jackson was a very popular singer during the 1980s and 1990s, hugely popular. And even today, many people still admire Michael Jackson, and they still enjoy listening to his songs and watching his music videos. And why? Well, because people want to be famous forever, like Michael Jackson. So let's go to that second question. According to Bob Hostetler, what are 3 human longings that cause Americans to be obsessed with celebrities? Well, here they are. The first is we have a longing for a community. We want to be part of a community because being alone is oftentimes very difficult. But when we are in a community, we feel loved and we feel part of a larger group. So that's that's one reason why we are obsessed with celebrity. A second reason is that we have a longing for significance. We want to know that we are important, that we're not simply nobody. We're somebody. And we want to know that we're important to somebody else, whether that's to our parents, our boyfriends or girlfriends, our husbands or our wives, our friends, and even to many other people. We long for significance. And then a third reason why we are obsessed with celebrities is that we have a longing for glory. You know, we want to have glory. Now, I once talked with my wife about this, and she thinks that what drives many people's worship of celebrities, at least for many women, is the longing for community. She has read about how many people go to online chat rooms to chat with one another about their favorite celebrities, because this gives them something to talk about with each other. And so, even though they may be far apart, in different cities or different countries, or even on different continents, talking about their favorite celebrities gives them a chance to connect with each other and to feel part of a community, a larger group. So, let's look at the next big question, and that is, how should we respond? So on slide 27, I have 2 questions for you again from our lesson, our reading assignment, and these questions are, how does Bob Hostetler say we should deal with these human longings in a healthy way? And the second question is, what does Craig Detweiler suggest we should encourage celebrities to do? So I want you to take 5 minutes to find the answers to these questions, and then we'll continue these together. So pause your video for 5 minutes, and then 5 minutes from now, I want you to start the video again, and we will go over the answers to these 2 questions. So please pause your video now. Okay. Were you able to find the answers to these questions? Let's see what the answers are. So the first question is, how does Bob Hostetler say we should deal with these human longings in a healthy way? Well, he says that we should deal with these human longings for community, significance, and glory, not through the worship of celebrities, but through true worship. Because you see, celebrities are really not worth worshiping. So we should find someone who truly is worth worshiping. Because if we can find the one person who is truly worth worshiping, then that is a truly healthy way to worship. And if you want to talk with me about that later, please do. So the second question is, what does Craig Detweiler suggest we should encourage celebrities to do? And he says we should encourage celebrities to use their celebrity status to promote help for those who are poor or weak. And already we see some celebrities doing this. For example, some basketball players will visit children in the hospital to encourage them and bring some joy into their lives while they are being treated for different diseases at the hospital. Now, let's go to WeChat and let's discuss a few things.